Welcome to another exciting episode of Invest in Yourself, the channel where financial guru Clive Harper assists you to achieve financial wellness. In today's episode, Clive is discussing the two-pot system.
Something new in South Africa is the two-pot system. How does this affect your retirement provision? The two-pot system was introduced by government to allow people to access their retirement funds before the age of 55. Now let us just explore, why did government come up with a two-pot system? Firstly, if you're a member of a retirement annuity, or you're a member of a pension provident fund, a preservation fund, a retirement annuity, you could not get access to that money unless you were 55 years old. But you know, it's difficult here in South Africa with interest rates being high, economy not growing, and people are really struggling. So government, after much negotiation, then decided to give people access to their pension provision. So, although it's called the two-pot system, there's actually three pots. There's the vested pot, the savings pot, and the retirement pot. Now, don't think all these pots are separate. Just look at it, see it as a house with three rooms. The house is still your retirement annuity or your pension or provident fund, and this is merely just the compartments within that pension or provident fund. So let's see what happened on the 31st of August. On the 31st of August, you had a certain value in your fund, and that value was basically ring-fenced in the vested pot. When you resign one day, you still have access to that money. Ideally, you want to preserve it for your retirement, because that's the purpose of it. But on the 1st of September, your company would have then transferred 10%, capped at 30,000 Rand, to the savings pot. And then that allowed you to withdraw the money if you need to, and we're going to cover that, the pros and cons of withdrawing that money. But let's say you needed the money, you could then draw 10%, capped at 30,000. Now that means if you have 100,000 in your fund, 10% is only 10,000 Rand. But if you have 300,000 or more in the fund, you can then access a maximum of 30,000 Rand. And that 30,000 Rand is taxed at your marginal tax rate. So what is your marginal tax rate? It's the tax rate you pay when earning your salary. Now remember, this will be added to your income for this tax year. It may put you in a higher tax bracket, but we can explore that in a bit more detail. So from the 1st of September, 1/3 of all your contributions will go into the savings pot. So let's assume your contribution is 900 Rand, 300 Rand goes into the savings pot, and 600 Rand goes into the retirement pot. So once a year, you have access to the savings pot, but remember, as I said, taxed at your marginal tax rate. Minimum withdrawal is 2,000 Rand, and the maximum withdrawal is the total value in that savings pot. Then the 2/3 portion, your 2/3 of your future contribution starting the 1st of September, goes into the retirement pot. Now, on resignation, you do not have access to that money. That is for your pension provision. And that money you will only see one day when you retire. Now, this is actually a very good thing, because you are making provision for your retirement. But let's just think now, is this a good thing or is it a bad thing? And that's what people have been asking me. So I do a lot of training, and there's some people who have loans, and these are those bad loans from illegal microlenders. They're actually paying 50% interest a month. Imagine borrowing 1,000 Rand, and at the end of the month you pay 1,500 Rand. 50%, this is really terrible. So for those people, I've said, access your money and get rid of those nasty loans and then never go back. But some people have asked me as well, Clive, can I withdraw the 30,000 Rand and put it in my bond? Now that doesn't make sense. You're going to pay tax. Let's assume your tax rate is 30%, could be 40%. What if it could be 20%? Why would you want to withdraw that money, pay 20% towards tax, and your bond rate is possibly 11%? You're giving 20 away to save 11. No, that is a bad thing. Some people I know, and I've been watching the news, they've been taking out the 30,000 Rand for the deposit on a vehicle. Now, I don't know your personal circumstances, maybe you needed that vehicle, but all that I'm saying is just make an informed decision. But now we must be very careful, because every two-pot withdrawal goes to SARS. And if your tax affairs are not in order and you owe SARS, SARS will issue what we call an IT-88. That is basically, it has the force of a court order, and they will attach that money or they'll attach part of it. So think carefully. Before you access that money, phone SARS, check that your tax affairs are in order. Some of the people thought they're going to be able to access money to pay debt, and then SARS attached the whole amount. So please be careful. So let's just look at the bad side now. Let's assume you can withdraw 30,000 Rand. Firstly, you're paying tax at a very high rate. Now, SARS will ask you for your current income. And there's actually a penalty if you don't disclose your exact income. You can't be saying your income is zero for the tax year. You will incur a penalty. And then if the tax was under-deducted, next year when you submit your tax form, SARS will make that adjustment, and then you may have to pay money in. So please be very careful. Remember now, you're losing the tax on it. You're losing the future growth. Let's assume that fund gives a 10% return on that 30,000 Rand. And what if you have many years to retirement, that compounding effect, you're losing all of that. Like I said, I don't know your personal circumstances, but what I would recommend, speak to your financial advisor and let them do the calculation for you. Check that your tax affairs are in order, and then please make an informed decision.
This is the end of our episode for today. Thank you for watching. If you found this episode useful, please like, share and subscribe. Feel free to contact Clive at any time. He will be glad to help you achieve financial wellness.
Listen, Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed.